You can max out your 401k. You can pick the perfect index fund and get an 8% average return for 30 years straight. And one decision made before any of that math even starts can erase 15 years of compounding in a single afternoon at a courthouse. I'm talking about your spouse, or more specifically, who you marry and how you handle money once you do. Because here's a number nobody puts in a YouTube thumbnail. The average divorce in America costs somewhere between $15,000 and $20,000 in legal fees alone. That's before anyone even touches the actual assets. And once they do touch the assets, they usually cut them in half. My name is Joey, and on this channel, I want to teach you how to save, invest, use, and grow your money so you can have more freedom and retire earlier without depending on the government. Subscribe to the channel and like this video. You can be the best investor in the world. If the partnership falls apart, the spreadsheet doesn't care.
Now, let's talk about the actual numbers, because most personal finance content treats marriage like a footnote, a soft topic. Meanwhile, it's sitting on top of every hard number you've ever calculated. Look, somewhere between 40 and 50% of marriages in the US end in divorce, depending on which study you trust. And when they do, the financial cleanup is brutal. Multiple national legal surveys put the average cost of a divorce, lawyers, court fees, mediation, at $15,000 to $20,000 per person. A contested divorce, the kind where you're actually fighting over assets, can run well past $50,000. But honestly, the legal fees are the smaller problem. The real damage is what happens to the asset side of your balance sheet. Most US states split marital assets either 50-50 or under equitable distribution, meaning whatever you built together, the house, the brokerage account, the retirement funds, gets divided. Doesn't matter if you were the one religiously contributing to the Roth IRA every single month. If it was built during the marriage, it typically gets split.
And here's what nobody tells you. It's not just the dollar amount that gets cut in half, it's the time. Compound interest isn't just about money, it's about money plus years. A $480,000 portfolio that took you 18 years to build, split into two $240,000 piles, doesn't magically rebuild itself in 9 years. You're not just losing half the money, you're losing the head start. Now, you might be thinking, okay, Joey, but I'm not getting divorced. Why does this matter to me? Because the same math runs in reverse. A strong financial partnership doesn't just protect you from the downside, it actively multiplies your upside. And that's where the real math gets interesting. Let's run the actual numbers, because this is where it gets exponential, pun intended. Say you and a partner each invest $500 a month into an S&P 500 index fund. Combined, that's $1,000 a month. At a historical average return of about 8% a year, after 20 years, that's roughly $589,000. Now picture a divorce at year 18. That portfolio is worth around $480,000 at that point, and it gets split. You each walk away with about $240,000. To get back to that original $589,000 target on your own, contributing that same $500 a month alone at 8%, you're not looking at 2 more years. You're looking at almost a decade, about 9.5 more years, because the biggest growth in compound interest happens at the end of the curve, not the beginning. You don't just lose half the money, you lose the most valuable years of the entire curve. But flip it around. A financially aligned marriage isn't just not divorced, it's economies of scale. 2 people sharing 1 mortgage instead of 2 rents, 1 Costco membership, not 2, 1 health insurance plan instead of 2 separate premiums. Conservatively, shared living costs save the average American couple somewhere around $600 to $800 a month compared to living single. Cost of living studies have shown this gap for years. Invest that $700 a month at 8% for 20 years, and you've added roughly $412,000 to your net worth, just from sharing a roof and a grocery cart. So the real math isn't marriage versus stock returns. It's that who you partner with and how aligned you stay financially determines whether your 8% return compounds uninterrupted for 30 years or gets cut in half at year 18 and has to start the climb all over again. So if the math is this obvious, why do so many financially smart people still end up here? Because money problems are rarely about money. A widely cited Kansas State University study found that couples who argue about finances even once a week are over 30% more likely to divorce than couples who don't, making it the single strongest predictor of divorce, ahead of arguments about kids, in-laws, or sex. And it's not always dramatic. National surveys consistently find that around 2 in 5 Americans in relationships have committed what's called financial infidelity, hiding a purchase, a credit card, or a bank account from their partner. It's rarely about the dollar amount, it's about trust eroding one hidden order at a time.
Here's the uncomfortable part. Most couples plan the wedding in more financial detail than they plan the marriage. You'll spend 6 months picking a venue and a cake and 0 hours discussing whether you're a saver married to a spender or whether one of you sees debt as a tool and the other sees it as an emergency. That mismatch doesn't show up on day 1. It shows up at year 7 when the resentment has compounded, just like the interest was supposed to. So what do you actually do with this? You're not picking a partner based on a spreadsheet, but you can absolutely protect the spreadsheet you're building together. First, have the actual money conversation before the wedding, not after. Debt, credit score, spending habits, risk tolerance, all of it on the table. Financial transparency before marriage isn't unromantic. It's the single biggest predictor of whether the romantic part survives. Second, run a weekly or monthly money date. 20 minutes, no judgment, just numbers. Couples who review finances together regularly report significantly higher relationship satisfaction and, not coincidentally, higher net worth because nobody's quietly sabotaging the plan. Third, consider the yours, mine, ours account structure. One joint account for shared expenses, rent, groceries, bills, funded proportionally by both incomes. Then each person keeps a separate account for individual spending, guilt-free. This single structure resolves the majority of money arguments because nobody has to ask permission to buy a coffee, but the big shared goals still get fully funded. And fourth, if you're already married and the financial alignment isn't there, you don't need a divorce to fix it. You need one honest conversation and a shared tracking system. A free app, a spreadsheet, anything both of you actually look at. The goal isn't perfect agreement, it's visibility. You can't compound what you can't see. Look, I make videos about index funds and 401ks and the S&P 500 because the math is real. But none of that math survives a financial partnership that's misaligned. Who you build wealth with matters as much as how you build it. If you found this useful, subscribe. I'm putting out videos every week breaking down the real numbers behind financial freedom. No hype, just math. And if you want to see exactly where you stand financially compared to other Americans your age, check out my video on net worth benchmarks, linked above.